MotoAmerica kicked off the 2020 season with record TV viewership for its opening round at Road America in Wisconsin. Even without fans, the racing was exciting. A returning champion socially distanced himself from the field, a first-time double race winner in Supersport, and someone other than Rocco Landers sweeps the weekend. Join us as we take the helmets off of our riders and see what drives them to be elite athletes in this incredible sport. They're what makes MotoAmerica the premier motorcycle road racing series in North America. This is Inside MotoAmerica. Lopa, and we're back at Road America for round 2 of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. We're here with all 5 of our classes and 2 specialty classes at the longest circuit on our calendar. Nestled on the rolling green plains of Wisconsin, about midway between Green Bay and Milwaukee, this 640-acre permanent road course has hosted races since September of 1955. The signature feature for this fast-flowing circuit is the run up the hill past the start-finish. The biggest story this weekend, of course, is the return of fans.
The fans are back, baby!
I'm really stoked. You know, the first round, it was a little funky not having any fans here. It was a little weird for all of us, having such an empty track. You know, you're riding around on the cooldown lap, there's nobody to wheelie or wave for us.
You know, I'm so happy to have all the fans back. This place gets pretty packed up for us, and we're really supportive of the MotoAmerica series and all the riders.
See them on the track, it's motivation. You can see them on the stands, they're cheering, and you've got a lot of cool interactions in the pits, so I'm happy to have the fans back.
It really motivates me to have all the fans out here. You know, we went down to the carousel last night and people were bonfiring and having a great time.
It's really awesome having the fans here. It really changes the whole atmosphere for us and just really gets everyone way more pumped up.
Our crew and staff and all of our riders are still showing the same requirements with masks and social distancing and everything that we've had before. We've added 80,000 square feet to the paddock by creating a different layout, so it allows people to socially distance more. Road America has placed signs, placards, and additional sanitation, additional hand wash stations, and it looks to me like everyone's having a great time, and we're so glad to have them back.
It's cool to see the fans back. It brings the energy back on the cool-down laps and stuff like that. It's cool to see everybody around the track.
I'm guessing we're going to have quite a lot of spectators and fans here, so it should be a good weekend racing.
It's awesome hearing them cheer us on, seeing them when we're out on track, having them for fan walk. Really good having them all back. Looking forward to seeing all you guys.
You come out here and everyone's with their dogs and stuff. I get to play with all the puppies, and I'm a big fan of the dogs. So yeah, having them all back here, it's great.
Make sure you come on by to the truck, and we'll get back to the fan walk and see all you guys, and thanks for coming.
Really cool to have everyone back here supporting us. Thank you, guys.
While the fans were gearing up to return to the track, a few riders were taking training to another level. Twins Cup rider Toby Kamsuk was busy getting his diploma. But nobody won more off the track than Cam Peterson, who proposed to his longtime girlfriend here in Wisconsin. Congratulations to you and Nina. Check out all of MotoAmerica's social media accounts and see unique content you can't see anywhere else. Give them a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. When we come back, Aussie David Anthony walks us through his favorite sections of the track before he heads into the weekend here at Road America.
Stay tuned for what's coming up next on Inside MotoAmerica.
Welcome back to the National Park of Speed, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Aussie Dave Anthony ended the 2019 MotoAmerica Superbikes Series ranked 10th in the championship. Anthony not only races in the series, but he's also a successful team owner, running 2 other riders in addition to himself under the Fly Racing ADR Motorsports banner. He takes us on a track walk and gives us his take on some of his favorite spots around the track.
David Anthony here, rider, team owner, Fly Racing ADR Motorsports. We're here at Road America, and let's go have a look at my favorite corners around this racetrack. Turn 1 definitely needs to be talked about. You're coming in off a big, long, fast straightaway. Very harsh braking. You're down 2 or 3 gears, depending on your bike. Tipping into here, you know, normal corner, except for we have a big bump right in the middle of the corner. Definitely something to watch. You'll even see it on the bikes during the footage. You'll see some, you know, the front end compress a little bit. And definitely the riders have got to watch for this in turn 1. If you're trying to make a pass up the inside, you got to be well aware of this. It's, you know, this is what determines corner speed in turn 1, this bump right here. So here we are, turn 6. I don't know if you can see behind me, you can't actually see the track there. So as you can imagine, that's entry to the corner there. As you're approaching the corner, you just can't see the corner. Can't see the apex. So basically you got to pick your point you're going to tip in and know that you've got it right. Another big problem is you're braking hard into a corner. Normally no problem, but there's a crest right at the top of this corner. So with the crest, you're hard on the front brakes, your back end gets light, and you can't tip in if the back wheel's off the ground. So this corner, you've actually got to get all your braking done before you tip in, and also pick your tip in spot. And yeah, it's off feel, not off sight, because you cannot see the corner. Road America, you cannot drive past the carousel. We need to talk about this. Probably the most well-known corners on this racetrack, just because it's a right-hander that goes on forever and ever when you're on the bike. Definitely a few lines through it, but generally speaking, most riders will take the same line, keep it tight, and maybe drift out a little bit towards the end and bring it back, but generally the same. Definitely don't drift out into the marbles. It gets quite slick off the race line. Everything gets pushed wide. Pick your line and get through it and get to the end. It goes for a long time. Road America, these are my 3 favorite turns on this racetrack. Thanks for joining us, and let's go racing.
MotoAmerica has announced that Öhlins, the high-end suspension company, has signed on as a sponsorship partner for the 2020 MotoAmerica Series. With 40 years of experience in the motorcycle and automotive industry, Öhlins is a leader in high-quality suspension products, service, and race support. From the MotoAmerica Series to MotoGP and every series in between, they welcome all fans to stop by their fully functional mobile race shop and see the Öhlins difference. Team Hammer is thrilled to confirm the Dunlop M4 Suzuki 2-seat Superbike program is continuing in 2020. This year, it celebrates the 20th anniversary of bringing fans, the media, and VIPs closer to the awe-inspiring sport of motorcycle road racing. Even the most spirited highway ride or advanced video game pales in comparison to accurately experiencing the precision, skill, and bravery required to compete with the nation's best by carving up an actual MotoAmerica racetrack with a professional racer at the controls. Cameron Bobier was dominant in round 1 at the end of May at Road America, easily winning both Hono Superbike races and, in the process, set a new track record. But it didn't take long for him to break his own lap record in round 2 when he lapped at 2:10.623. With his win in race 1, Bobier became the all-time winningest rider at Road America with his 9th Superbike victory. It was also the 41st win of Bobier's Superbike career. Let's see what happened in race 1 of the Hono Superbike class with Greg and Jason.
Hono's Superbike Race 1 highlights, and when things got going, looked like Cameron Bobier might have his way, Jay.
It did look that way, but Kyle Wyman and Bobby Fong had something else to say at the start. But Bobby Fong's guy's really been impressing me. As you can see here, Tony Elias slides up underneath Kyle Wyman with Jake Gagne just in tow. Bobby Fong went chasing after Bobier. These guys got into a good battle. Not sure what went on just now with Gagne there as he went straight down into that chicane, but Cameron Bobier right now, Greg, has got things going his own way. He's happy with his team. He's happy with his bike. These two guys battled all the way to the last lap. This is the last lap going into the chicane, and you can see Kyle was able to squeeze up underneath Tony. Tony fired back, and as they went down into this area, down into Canada Corner, Greg, very, very narrow area. There must have been a yellow flag wave, and Tony didn't see it. He ends up getting penalized. Cameron Bobier didn't see any of that, though. He just goes ahead and wins another race.
Bobier, Fong, and Kyle Wyman, his first in many years.
Fans are back, baby.
It's great that they're still doing, kind of a limited fan walk and everything, but everyone's keeping their distance, but it's been awesome being out here.
When we come back, Richie Escalante looks to keep the pressure on the Supersport class after his double win in round 1 in May.
What's up, guys? Kyle Wyman finished 3rd in Superbike today. Looking forward to tomorrow. Let's go.
Welcome back to round 2 of the 2020 MotoAmerica season at Road America. Let's get to the highlights from round 2 in Wisconsin with Greg and Jason.
Let's take a look at some race 1 highlights from Supersport, Jason. It was entertaining.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Sean Dillon Kelly got a great jump. These guys all came down into turn 5 the first lap. We weren't sure who was going to lead out of there, but it was number 54, Richie Escalante, who took the lead, only to be fired right back by Sean Dillon Kelly. This went on for a couple laps, or actually for the first lap, until Kevin Olmedo had a big crash out of the last corner. So happy to see him up and okay. On the restart, a little bit of the same. But this time Escalante didn't get as good of a start. SDK led him in the way. Brandon Posh was right there, but after the first lap, Escalante came back to the front. You saw him make a mistake down here into turn 5. SDK goes by him there. Then once he got to the lead, Greg, it just seemed like if he could just kind of run into those mid-19s, he would be okay and be able to kind of get away. We saw 2 minute 19.1, which was quicker than he qualified. But SDK stayed tough all the way through this race. He stayed pretty hard and kept putting the pressure on. We saw Escalante make a mistake down into turn 1. SDK took advantage of that. They passed and repassed each other. At the end, Escalante was able to do those last 3 laps pretty clean, and that was really the key thing here. And doing the 2:19.4 on the last lap really showed me how fast and how comfortable he is on that bike when he can just let it go.
Escalante, 3 for 3 so far this year. Let's take a look at the highlights from race number 2. Jason, take us through. Good luck, by the way, on these highlights.
No, I mean, look, there's a lot of passing going on. As you can see here, SDK got a great start. Aguilar jumped himself in there, and really, he just got shuffled back early. That was the bummer part for him, is that he kind of got chewed up. He passed for the lead. SDK cut it back up underneath him, and then he kind of got hard charge. Escalante goes underneath SDK here. As you can see, Benjamin Smith making that small mistake. He'll learn from that. And then these guys were just battling. You heard SDK talk a lot the last 2 days about bringing the fight. He definitely brought the fight a little bit more here and there. And Brandon Posh was able to get by him, but he did the same move to Brandon too. He cut it back up underneath him. But at the end of the day, this guy's 4-0 for 2020. And the team are only going to continue to work. They've got some very experienced people on there. You get a chance to look at the points here, Greg. SDK gets himself into second, 40 points back now. 48 points back is Brandon Posh. Nate Mister, 53, then Aguilar in 5th place. But, you know, when you hear both those guys talking, we're going to get away from Road America, and I think that there are going to be some heated battles between these 3 guys as the year goes along, and there's going to be some other guys that are going to play into that as well. Now,
Newcomer Samuel Lochoff has already made waves in the MotoAmerica paddock despite being so early on in his career. Though he lacks the years of experience, he makes up for it with passion and talent. I sat down with Sam to talk about where it all began and where he wants it to go. This is Why We Ride. Tell me about what it was like growing up in South Africa and getting your start into motorcycle racing.
I mean, it is really different than here because there aren't as many riders in South Africa, but there are like really good riders from South Africa. So I first started racing in 2016, and I started on like a little NSF 100, and I would crash about every race I rode. But then afterwards, I started like understanding like why and how you ride a bike, and then I eventually like started getting my grips.
What was the first motorcycle you ever had, and how old were you? Was that it?
So my first bike I had was a Honda 150, and that was like the first bike that like I owned. I was maybe 15.
And whose idea was it to get you a motorcycle and to get you involved in this sport?
Well, I used to race go-karts, and I would always see like the bikes and the like fast cars going around the go-karting track, and I was like, damn, I think I need more speed. So then I started like racing, and within the first year I was up to riding a 300.
What was your first race that you can recall, and how did you do during that race?
Maybe 12 people on the grid, and I qualified 3rd on this NSF 100, and then I crashed in like the first corner. So.
Oh no!
So that was. Yeah.
What was your first successful moment in motorcycle racing, and was that something that motivated you to continue on?
The European Championship, I won that in 2018, and I also competed in the World Championship. My best finish in there was 18th, but I think definitely in Slovakia Ring and Red Bull Ring, those were like the most memorable moments of 2018.
How did you find those opportunities outside of South Africa?
I did a wild card in the World Championship in, I don't even know, I think 2017, and it was in Portugal in the World Supersport 300, and I qualified like 34th, and I finished, I think, 18th or 19th, and I don't know, that just opened a lot of doors for me because I like realized I was like decent enough to carry on racing.
Now, what brought you to the United States and into our series, MotoAmerica? How did you get here?
Racing didn't really like make us immigrate. We immigrated just because there's a lot of crime in South Africa, so we needed to like find a escape route, and we just decided to apply for our green card. We got our green card, and then we moved to America.
How competitive is our series compared to maybe some of the other riders that you've gridded up with?
Compared to the European Championship, it's probably about the same. Maybe this championship was a little bit harder, but compared to the World Championship, like I struggled way more in the World Championship than I struggled here.
Being as young as you are, what are your hopes for the future of your career? What are your goals? Where do you hope to go?
Definitely I want to go back to Europe and carry on racing there, and then I don't know if I would race the Moto 3, Moto 2, Moto GP route or the World SBK route. A lot of people start at like the age of 4, 5, 6, and I started at like when I was 14, but that hasn't really like stopped me.
Does your dad or does any of your family have any background in racing?
No. The first time my dad went on a bike, he crashed on the streets,
Oh, no.
and he broke his leg, and so he didn't want me racing until he never wanted me to race.
So why do you ride?
I struggle to like multitask with anything, and with racing, you just have to be like precise. And I find with racing motorcycles, that's the only time I can really be present. So I'm not thinking about what I'm eating for dinner or something. I always speak to myself when I'm riding.
Stick around after the break and watch Sam battle for the podium again in round 2 at RoadAmerica.
Hello friends, I'm Richie Escalante. Very happy to win today. This is the trophy. RoadAmerica race 1 today, Saturday, so ready for tomorrow. I'm really happy, thanks.
Welcome back to the beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and round 2 of the 2020 MotoAmerica season. Here's Greg and Jason with the recap of the Liqui-Moly Junior Cup from round 2 at RoadAmerica.
Liqui-Moly Junior Cup race number 1 was about as exciting as it gets, Jason.
Absolutely, and it was the two guys that we saw last time, Dominic Doyle and Rocco Landers. Rocco had a very strategic plan for this race, and it was just going to be to sit on the back of Dominic Doyle for the entire race, and that's really what he did. We saw an incident here between Errol Sullivan and Isaiah Burleson. Unfortunately, Errol went down. I'm glad to see him up and okay, but this is kind of what we saw last time we were here at RoadAmerica for round 1. These two guys glued together, but Rocco looked like he just wanted to kind of hang back, sit there, wait till the last minute, and he really did wait till the last minute. We went through this whole race where these guys were this close, but at the end, this is the finish. It was a 0.06 of a second, Greg, another close one that Dominic Doyle goes ahead and wins.
Can't help but feel for Rocco, but be joyful for Dominic Doyle. Liqui-Moly Junior Cup Race 2 highlights, and it was a close one as we expect.
Always a battle between the number 25 of Dominic Doyle and Rocco Landers, our defending champion. They found that Rocco's bike had a bent frame. They stayed late last night. They fixed it. He was quick in warm-up, and it looked at the beginning of the race that he was just going to try to make a breakaway move and get away from Dominic Doyle. As these two continued to race back and forth with each other, they got down into Canada corner, and Rocco made a very rare mistake. Ran a little bit wide. That would lend him to coming back and running a 2:39.1, fastest lap we've ever seen around RoadAmerica. But again, he waited to the last minute, much like he did in our race on Saturday. A little further back, Gus Rodeo, Ben Glady, and Sam Lochoff were locked together for the battle for the podium. But as they came rolling through turn 14 on the last lap, Rocco Landers got a tremendous drive out of here, was able to get in that draft, make the pass, and get himself to the line finally to win his first race of the season in the Lopa Junior Cup race. Sam Lochoff got the double draft of Rodeo and Glotty to get his podium secured in third there in race number 2.
Yeah, and I think the largest margin of victory that we've seen so far this season.
How about Sam Lochoff? This is a big motivation for him today to get on the podium for that Celtic team. And you're going to see how he did it, Greg. They came out of that last corner on the last lap. He put himself in the perfect spot to get a double draft off Rodeo and Glotty. And you can see he's able to just kind of power himself to the front there. And it almost looked like on the last lap that was his plan. He looked, watching the splits and things, he was staying behind those guys, and he was able to make this work for him. And he put that Celtic 400 up on the podium today.
Greg, a Twins Cup win earlier in the day today, marking his first for that class, and now the defending champ gets his first Liqui Junior Cup win. Rocco, you drafted Dominic Doyle to the line right at the end there. How'd you do it?
Yeah, this whole season my bike has been, so far, it was a bent frame. So they worked till 3 a.m. last night and got the thing put back together, put a new frame in. Today, just tried to push as hard as I could. In the beginning, tried to pull away, that didn't work. I was like, oh, I better try to work as hard as I can and maybe get him on the line, and I'm so stoked because I'm happy.
Championship standings has Rocco Landers 10 points behind Dominic Doyle. Dominic the Dominator will head off to Road Atlanta for our next round. Your championship points leader. You can see that there's a real tight battle for third in the points early on in this season.
Our riders put in hours of tireless work to prepare for each race weekend. This week, we thought we'd help them unwind and relax before the bikes hit the track. We're in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, here at the beautiful Osthoff Resort for a little friendly competition. It's Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha versus M4XR Suzuki. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, go.
Let's do it.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Cam probably watches Cornhole on TV. I'm definitely hoping for a win, I've been training really hard for this day. I did my stretches this morning, so I'm pretty much ready to go.
Hey, what's the loser got to do?
Yeah, what do you guys want to do when you lose?
Loser starts last on the grid.
I'm ready, let's go.
Jake, I heard that you have a cornhole set up in your backyard. So have you been practicing before you got here today?
Yeah, no doubt. That's my actual main form of training for motorcycle racing, for life in general. I've had Attack Performance put in some weights in our bags, so 90 Cam's bags are actually gonna be working pretty good today, and the wind's nice, and we're gonna smoke them.
Sounds good. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Jake.
Oh, Tony!
Headshot, 5 points.
What happens if I touch that one and goes in?
Makes it.
Yeah, you still on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
What's harder, cornhole or racing motorcycles?
Definitely cornhole. Cornhole.
Oh, that's 4 points right there.
Is it hanging? It's not in, huh?
Well, it's hanging in there.
Just hit it. Hit it, Tony.
It doesn't count. Yeah, that counts.
It's in. It's in the hole. It's in. It's in the hole.
Oh yeah, that's what you call in the hole. Yes.
It's just resting on top of the other one, so it's up a little higher.
That's my teammate.
20. That was almost game. Oh wait, what's 18 plus 3? Yeah, that's 21.
21.
Just one in the hole, right?
Put that on TV.
Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
This has to go in.
Oh! You broke it.
I'm sorry, I will pay it.
We're a little upset, but I held it for M4 Escort Suzuki. Tony lacked a little bit today, but
I did my best. Bobby sucks. It's his fault, and that's why we lose against Yamaha. No.
There you have it. Looking at the schedule for the remaining 8 rounds for 2020 includes 2 more Heritage Cup exhibitions at Indianapolis and Laguna Seca, and 2 more Mini Cup by Motul races at Pit Race and the Ridge in August. For tickets to all MotoAmerica rounds, log on to MotoAmerica.com and select tickets in the main menu. Stay tuned after the break as we take a closer look at the fine art of crashing a motorcycle. Welcome back to round 2 of the 2020 MotoAmerica season at Road America. Crashing is as much a part of motorcycle racing as anything. It's not natural to watch these athletes skid across the pavement and tumble while we hold our breath, hoping for the best. No rider wants to crash, and when it happens, it's never expected. It takes practice and a skill to minimize the risk of injury. We take a look at Bobby Fong's crash last year at Pit Race as an example of the toughness and grit these riders display every race weekend. He went on to win the championship, and it was this point in the season that pushed him to capture it. Dr. David Harris walks us through some of the physics that's happening during his crash.
Oh no! Bobby Fong! Huge crash for Bobby Fong.
The atoms in his body didn't know that anything had gone wrong. The atoms in the bike knew that something went wrong. The bike started slowing down before the atoms in his body started slowing down. So he got in advance of the bike. The bike trailed off beneath him. Then he crashes to the ground at over 100 miles per hour and starts sliding. It looked like he had a greater coefficient of friction with the road. Friction, of course, is going to slow him down more quickly than the bike is slowing down. So not only does he get run over by his own bike partially, but he's also rolling on the ground, constantly hitting his shoulders and his whole body on the ground repeatedly every time he rolls.
I came around the off-camber turn where I crashed and just gave it a little bit too much juice, and I think it's not forgiving. You know, it wasn't an easy slide. It was just a little too early with the throttle, and next thing you know, I was going for a ride. It's one of the faster corners on the track.
If a crash occurs very, very quickly, stopping very fast means you have to shed velocity very quickly. Shedding velocity very quickly means that you have to have a tremendous force on you. If you're able to extend the time over which the collision happens, the average force that you're having to deal with is lower. If you can extend the time of your crash, you can have less force on average over any given second. And so it shouldn't be as disastrous if you're able to slide. On average, over the course of the entire crash, of course, when he actually physically hits the ground and every time he tumbles, it's going to amplify that quite a bit.
I still feel the pain this day when I wake up in the morning with my heel and stuff like that, my lower back. And fortunately, we got a race the next day. It was definitely painful, but I grit my teeth and got her done.
There are a lot of variables that are going to contribute to a crash. I don't think that we can ever say that any one variable will necessarily be the most important variable in causing that crash. Trying to draft, moving in and out of a draft could definitely change the control that they have over the bike and cause them to crash.
For 2020, it's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America.
Matthew Skoltz has a look underneath Bobby Fong in that last corner.
Huge crash.
Big crash. Bobby Fong got into turn 5 a little deep here. He just kind of clatters into the back of Matthew Skoltz.
I went down to corner 5 and I broke really hard, trying to defend the position. And then as I was tipping in, I think Bobby ran into the back of me, which is very unfortunate, but I think that's just part of motorcycle racing.
I did my best I could to avoid Matt, but unfortunately I took us both out, and fortunately we're both okay, and we're both buddies, and we're moving on to this weekend.
The future of road racing lies in the very capable and eager hands of our MotoAmerica Mini Cup by Motul riders. The riders range in age from 6 to 14 years old, each aboard their very own Ovale mini motorcycle. Are you guys ready?
Thank you, MotoAmerica!
Let's go racing.
I'm Brandon Cretu with Ovale USA Rise Moto. We're the U.S. importer for the Ovale motorcycles, which are the spec motorcycle for the new MotoAmerica Mini Cup by Motul for 2020.
I love the Oval. I think for this age group, it's the best bike you could possibly be on. I've been riding it for about 2 years now, and I just love everything about it. The 190 especially, because it's so fast and I can pop so many wheelies with it.
So it was a very good race weekend. We learned a lot, and the heat was really good. And then going into the main, we changed tires, and it was a little slick, but we had to work around it. So overall, pretty good race weekend and ready to improve.
Yeah, the Talent Cup in 2019 with MotoAmerica was basically to showcase, what I guess, racing can be in America with, structured progression for kids, youth up through, to the Junior Cup. And, obviously it was a really big success last year, and everyone has kind of embraced this formula, and which is really popular in Europe. And, we decided to go to a 3-race series for 2020 to kind of give everyone a further taste of this. And MotoAmerica was very supportive of what we had, what Avali had to offer, and I'm really happy with how everything went this weekend. We had like over 40 entries in total across all the classes, almost 50 I think, and great, fantastic racing. So we had people lining the fences and watching the races, and it was really fantastic. And everyone kept coming by all weekend saying, this is great, this is what America needs, and what road racing needs here. So I think we're making steps in the right direction, and this is just the first year of it. So we have still a ways to go, but everything's working really well.
The love of racing starts young for most of our riders and is often passed down from generation to generation. When we come back, we get an inside look at 3 generations of riders keeping it in the family. Elkhart Lake was incorporated in 1894 and was best known in the 1950s for hosting road races on public country roads that went around the lake with the start-finish line in the village. Road America opened in 1955, and Elkhart Lake quickly became both a racing and resort destination on the national stage. Every family has their own traditions. Whether it's game night, holidays, or family vacations, these traditions are passed down through the generations. For Lucky, Aaron, and Ashton Yates, the sport of motorcycling has become their family tradition. MotoAmerica has helped them continue their legacy with 3 generations of motorcycle riders on and off the track. Here's Inside MotoAmerica's The Crew.
My name's Lucky Yates. I'm the father of Aaron Yates and the grandfather of Ashton Yates. And I'm just kind of, I guess, the mechanic in the team, somewhat support Aaron. He's kind of the crew chief. And a little support for Ashton when we're in the quiet time and stuff. That's me.
My son Ashton Yates is riding Honda CBR 1000 number 22 in the Superstock series, and also competing in the Bike Cup. I'm pretty much the crew chief, chief mechanic, and we're just, trying to do our thing on a budget, just trying to have fun and go racing.
Growing up going to the races with my dad, he used to ride me around the pits and stuff. That's kind of where my memory started, from riding around. And he got me a JR50 when I was young, and I rode that thing around the yard and stuff. So the way I live my life, motorcycles, so I'm always riding, and it's just something that makes me happy and something so I can't live without it.
My dad was in the military, so 8th through 12th grade I went to high school in France on base. I knew no one, so Dad bought me a Peugeot moped home. Once I got 16, I could get a bigger bike, so that's when I got the old BMW, and that was like the greatest thing ever to me at the time. I did dirt track racing. We used to call it outlaw tracks, kind of like local motocrosses, but back then it was flat track. I couldn't afford to do all this other stuff, much as I wanted to. I was really happy when he decided to do it, though. That was pretty cool.
Just rode around in the yard, and basically that was the beginning. Thankfully for my dad, he took me racing, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here for sure.
He wanted to try the street thing, so that's all I needed to hear. So I went and bought him cheap leathers and the different things, and off to Talladega we went for the little GP track. And they threw him in a little novice class, and he pretty much smoked everybody there in his first 2 races, So I was like, that's it, we're going road racing.
1996 was my first year factory with Suzuki Yoshimura, and I rode with them, pretty much all the way until 10 years.
Aaron had a remarkable career. He was like a professional for, 20 years or something. I mean, that's, to stay with one team like Yosh for 10, 11 years, it's just, I wish the same for Ashton. I hope it works out.
I've learned everything from my dad and my grandpa. We already have a 3-generation Yates crew, so I think in the future I'll definitely take it to the 4th.
Aaron's got that feeling now that I used to have when his son's out there, so I got it again too, but he didn't, at that time you can't relate when you're a racer what dad feels like, so we kind of share that, I guess, now.
Let's get to some highlights from the Stock 1000 class with Roger Hayden and Robbie Floyd.
Stock 1000, race number 1. It's the only race for the Stock 1000. Popping wheelies for Cam Peterson in a big bog out of Michael Gilbert of the 55.
Yeah, Cam made this pass here, headed into turn 1 early in the race, and really never looked back and just slowly pulled away and rode at his own pace and pretty much controlled everything from after the first lap.
Stefano Mesa stayed in second, but the man on the move was that 55, goes up from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere there up into 4th, and then he put the move on Alex Dumas and finishes 3rd. But Cam Peterson takes the victory, his first of 2020. I'm quite sure it's not going to be the last.
I've been searching this for a long time. But yeah, we're learning every time we're out on the bike, and obviously it's a bummer PJ hasn't been out here for that race. If I'm gonna win, I want to beat that Ducati and I want to beat PJ, but my thoughts are with him. Hopefully he gets better soon, but I can't thank the team enough. We've gone through some adversity. We've even had our problems this weekend, and I just, every time I get on the bike, I try to give them 100% and just do whatever I can to get them results like this.
Here's some highlights from the Twins Cup with Roger Hayden and Robbie Floyd.
They were both faster than they were at the first stop when we were here just about a month ago, but it all starts with the start, and you knew Rocco wanted to get out in front.
He did, and you can tell here Caleb made the pass going in turn 1 and didn't want to let Rocco do what he did. He get away, and Rocco made this pass here, headed into turn 5 and made a gap here on the first lap, and honestly just never looked back. And then Jackson Blackman was having a great race, was right there in second, and just had a little tip over in turn 5.
Look at this race, though, that we had back there, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. It was 7th as well in the mix. And Hayden Schultz, the one to come out on top of that one. But Rocco Landers, again, they're turning faster times. They're going to push each other throughout the series, and we're glad to have them racing that hard, that tight. Throw in Hayden Schultz. He learned a lot. And, yeah, there were a lot of guys trying to outbreak each other.
Yeah, that last lap, that last podium spot was really good. And, Hayden Schultz, I mean, congrats to him. He had that mistake coming out of turn 5. He was drafting Teague, and Teague tried to redraft him, but Hayden just had enough to get by. And look at Rocco there. There's no better feeling than that right there.
When we return, a blast from the past with the Heritage Cup exhibition and Superbike Race 2.
Cameron Bobier here, fresh off a win here here at RoadAmerica on Saturday. We were able to get 3 in a row, and hoping for another one tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Welcome back to round 2 of the 2020 MotoAmerica season and the 4 miles of fun that is RoadAmerica. For motorcycle racing enthusiasts, there's nothing like collecting, restoring, or riding vintage race bikes. Here in Wisconsin, MotoAmerica takes it to another level with a full-on display of bikes from the past with the Heritage Cup exhibition.
The Heritage Cup is MotoAmerica's brand new series for 2020 and beyond, where we bring vintage bikes from all classes of AMA pro racing history into the grid for the fans and the spectators and the television audience alike to actually see what racing has been like and what brought us to the place where we're at now with these amazing superbikes.
I was really excited when they came up with the idea, because we've got bikes like this one and these beautiful ones over across from us here that don't get out much. The fans for the newer racing, I think it's important for them to see where this all began.
For our very first Heritage Cup, we are blessed and absolutely honored to have one of the rarest and most special bikes that has ever been produced, and that is the Briton from New Zealand. Only 10 were ever made, and graciously Bob Robbins has come in to not only show the bike, but get on it, leathers up, and actually wind it out the way that the designer in the 90s really intended for it to be.
For me to be out there with the vintage bikes is really special in that I really respect what these bikes were and the history of all these people. MotoAmerica found, I think, a really nice mix of different levels, different eras, and I see this turning into a bigger thing with that.
The modern era of AMA Superbike racing, which would be from 1983, there's been 3 people to win an AMA Superbike race as a privateer, and I was one of 3. 1982, GPZ 1100, we built the whole motorcycle in 12 days. That's all I did for 12 hours a day was work on this. Hand built it, designed it, computer, CNC'd it, all in 12 days. We were out with the Briton this morning, and the Briton and I go down the whole straightaway, side by side, gear for gear, all the way to the end. They couldn't be 2 completely different motorcycles, right? And they just were perfect even. You have fun out with different brands of motorcycles.
All these bikes are the bikes that I wanted to have when I was younger but couldn't afford it, or some of them I did have and they were dream bikes. I believe these bikes are true race bikes and they're thoroughbreds, and they don't believe in a man cave. They don't belong in a man cave. They belong on the track. MotoAmerica and Superbike racing came from America, and these are true superbikes that were built from street bikes. And to have these bikes back around with all these high technology and the bikes they have today is really a compliment, and you get to see where the technology has taken it. It means a lot that they're doing this. I think it's a good venture, and I think the more they do it, the more and more people will join and bring their bikes out of the garage. There's a lot of these in the garage in a lot of places, but nobody has anywhere to take them.
It's a gentleman's thing. The passing was good, and I see it going nowhere but the right direction.
Let's get to the highlights from round 2 in Wisconsin with Greg and Jason.
Moto Superbike Race 2 was entertaining to say the least, Jason.
Absolutely, and we thought it was going to be kind of business as usual. Cameron Bobier was going to get off to the lead, which he did. Tony Elias slotted into second. Bobby Fong slotted into third. And we thought, all right, things are kind of looking normal. Jake Gagne kind of got shuffled back a little bit, and you can see he starts to make his move forward. This is start of the second lap. Kyle Wyman, Tony Elias, our podium battle from yesterday got locked in, and then all of a sudden it happened. Cameron Bobier makes his first mistake of 2021 that I'm sure he didn't see coming, we didn't see coming, nobody did, but that automatically made it to where it was going to be a battle between 2 guys that had never won before. Then Matthew Skoltz gets into the side of Tony Elias down in the chicane area. Tony would remount and get some points. Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne came and fought all the way to the line. Kyle Wyman ends up third, but Bobby Fong gets his first Superbike win.
First race win of the season in the Hono Superbike class for the M4XR Suzuki team, and a career first Superbike win for you, Bobby. Tell me what it took to make it to this point.
Oh man, what can I say? It's been a long time coming, but you know, unfortunately Cam went down, and you know, I want to stand up top on this on the box with Cameron in the race too, so it's unfortunate for that team, but you know, it's been a pleasure riding for John and Chris Ulrich, and you know, they gave me this opportunity on the Superbike to showcase my talent and see what I can do in the big boys. And you know, it's paid off, and we're just going to keep the ball rolling. But I got to give it up to my whole team, man. They're working their butts off. My crew chief Frank, my mechanic Cody, Tim, my coach Josh Hayes. You know, everybody who's been behind me. Mike for taking care of me this weekend. There's been so many people who's been behind this effort, and thanks for always believing in me. And we're going to try to keep it on 2 wheels and keep the ball rolling.
Here's a look at the standings. It's 9 points between Cameron Bobier and Jake Gagne as we peel off to round number 3 at Road Atlanta. Thanks, Hannah, Jamie, and Jason. I'm Greg. See you next time.
After a 4-week break, racing resumes at Road Atlanta for round 3 of the 2020 MotoAmerica season. Check your local listings for airtimes on the NBC Sports Network.
Now we get to be out, sight, sounds, you get to hear it. This is their first time out, and I feel like she's going to own a motorcycle before this is all said and done. It's great time.
I'm excited to go to Atlanta, and I'm happy that we're able to have the fans out here, and it's been a good weekend. So.
I really love Road Atlanta. I kind of grew up on that track, so I'm looking forward to get back and racing there.
This year, Road Atlanta was my first ever race in the United States in MotoAmerica, and it was one of my best races, so I'm looking forward to getting back there and seeing how it goes in Superbike.
Hey, got my first win. Really looking forward to Atlanta to keep the ball rolling.
For all of us here at Inside MotoAmerica, I'm Hannah Lopa. We'll see you next time.